What's up, YouTube? What's up, preppers? It's me, the UP. I'm the Upstate Prepper. Today I want to talk a little bit about the Suez. What is going on in the Suez? So we've got this large, extremely large cargo ship stuck in the Suez sideways. One of the largest cargo ships on the planet. Now they say that a strong wind blew coming off of the desert and somehow blew this enormous cargo ship off to the side, and it ended up beaching itself. Well, folks, that's the second story. The first story was the initial reports that the electric on the ship went out. It lost all of its steering systems, all of its directional systems went out, all of its electronics went out, and that's why it ended up turning sideways and beaching itself. Well, I think that we've got the right story here. I just think it was the first story. I think it was the initial report that came out telling us that the ship lost all of its power, and that's why this happened. Folks, this is obviously, these are my thoughts, my opinions. This is not mainstream news. These are just things that the UP thinks about. I don't condone or wish anyone to harm others, commit crimes, do anything that's illegal. Do not harm anyone. Do not be nasty to anyone. Do not do any of those things, because they're naughty and they're bad. So the UP does not condone any sort of negative activity whatsoever. But let's talk more about Suez. So I say this was no accident. This was no accident at all. This was not a freak thing. I say exactly what they told us in the beginning is exactly what happened. The electronics went out. The ship veered off course because it couldn't be steered. It beached itself. Now, how coincidentally that this is one of the largest cargo ships that exists. It is over 1,400 feet long. Weighed at an incredible weight. And a strong wind blew it off course? No, I don't think so at all. We're getting satellite images of the situation now too. So if a strong wind blew, why didn't the ship that's right behind it, that's stuck directly behind it, why didn't that veer off course? Why didn't the ship that was in front of it veer off course? Why did it happen to one of the only ships on the planet that's actually large enough to turn sideways and block the Suez? Because you see, if the ship behind it had turned sideways in the Suez, it wouldn't be blocked. There would still be enough room for other ships to pass through. Because it wasn't, and that was an enormous ship. But not as big as the one that's stuck. So, why would this happen? More importantly, who could have done it? Well, there's only a handful of nations that have the capacity to do such a thing. So we'll just list them off. We'll start with the obvious, the good old USA. Oh yeah, we could do that. We could do that all day long. Russia, China, North Korea, possibly Great Britain, I would say probably Great Britain has the capacity to pull something like this off. Iran and Israel. These are the nations that have the ability to do this. And one of them did. Or maybe a conjunction of more than one did. Why? Well, what's going to happen? They're estimating that this is costing an average of $400 million per hour that this ship is blocking the Suez, costing the world's economic system $400 million per hour. It's already cost well over $15 billion because merchandise can't get through. And what's going to happen is ships are going to have to be diverted now if they don't get this out, and don't expect to see this ship lodged out of there for at least a couple months. But ships are now going to be diverted down around the Horn of Africa. That's going to take a lot of extra time, about an extra 3 weeks. It's going to take a lot of extra diesel fuel. It's going to take more manpower, protection of these ships, protection on the ships, military escorts, because let's face it, the eastern coast of Africa is chock full of pirates. And these ships will start getting picked off one by one if they're not protected. So it's going to cost an enormous toll on the economic system of the world, which by default includes the United States. Oil cannot get through. Other types of merchandise cannot get through. Nothing is getting through. That is one of the largest used passageways for cargo ships in the world. What else goes through the Suez? Why, the militaries of the world go through the Suez Canal because they don't like the extra time and cost of going around Africa either. So the militaries of the world pass through the Suez Canal all the time. Speaking of which, the United States has now determined it's a national security emergency. What's happening in the Suez? So the U.S. Navy is on its way there. I'll say that again. The U.S. Navy is on its way there. What other concerns could there be? I heard today there's over 900 cargo ships that are lined up and stuck in the Red Sea, in the Mediterranean, waiting to be able to get through. Over 900 other cargo ships. Did you know that the new thing now is missile cargo ships? They look just like any other cargo ship. They're full of containers. In fact, they're moving product from one place to the other. This ship, as it turns out, is a Japanese-owned ship that left a port in China and was on its way to a port in the Netherlands. Now, I'm not saying this is one of those ships. Obviously, that would get found out pretty quickly. Nor do I think that the captain or the crew had anything to do with this ship being stuck. The reason is because there were 2 Suez Canal captains on board when this occurred. That means when these ships go through the Suez, or if they go through the Panama Canal, they get boarded by other captains who are specifically trained to take ships through these waterways. So 2 Suez captains aborted this ship. Now the captain of the ship's still in charge, but they sort of take charge temporarily. to get the ship through the canal safely and securely. So that would have to be quite the conspiracy. I don't think this ship particularly had anything to do with it. I think the ship is a victim of bad circumstances. And I don't think that it's any coincidence that this particular ship that this happened to, one of the only ships in the world large enough to completely block the Suez Canal and touch the shores of both the east and the west sides of the Suez Canal. So missile cargo ships, like I said, they look just like normal cargo ships. They're full of shipping containers. They're moving cargo from one place to the other. But on them are some special shipping containers, ones that have very strong missiles in them. And what happens, or what can happen, is on that ship, someone has the ability to flip a switch, and up goes the roof, and up comes the missiles, and they can be fired from that ship. And you'd never know it. A ship could be sitting in a port. Here's an example. The port of LA is one of the largest ports in the world. One of these ships could come in to the port of LA. It could actually dock at the port. And up comes the top, sitting right there in the port of LA. That's what could happen. That's what's out there. Is it any wonder that 5 carrier groups are off the east and west coast of the United States right now? 3 on the west coast, 2 on the east coast. There's a lot of ships in a carrier group. It's not just a carrier. It's carriers, cruisers, destroyers, other supporting vessels, subs. Carrier group has a lot of ships involved. 5 carrier groups off of the coast of our country right now, just sitting there. Wonder why? Because that's not normal. That's not normal at all. This was no accident. The UP is not down to the bottom of exactly what's going on yet. But I can tell you this, it's no accident. This ship was cyber attacked, of course, in my humble opinion. It was cyber attacked, it was shut down, and now Suez is blocked. And it's going to stay blocked for a good long time. And that's going to create a whole lot of other problems. So, you need to fill your gas cans, you better do it now. You need toilet paper, you better stock up now. Because that's stuck in the waiting for the Suez too. All that thin wood pulp that's used to make toilet paper. It's stuck over there. Guess what? There's going to be a toilet paper shortage. So get it now. In fact, start getting everything now. Because even if it is on the shelves in another month, it's going to be more expensive. Guys, food, water, medical, shelter, a means to protect it all. and a plan. Start making your plans. If you have not put any thought into this, you are behind the 8 ball, because nothing else that you do means a hill of beans if you don't have a plan. Preppers, I am the UP, and I'll catch you the next time.